Hi folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and today we're going to work again on some earrings using the April Bargain Bead Box. Now I've already made a small pair of earrings. You'll see them, they're down on the mat. And these others are going to be similar, just a little larger. So let's turn down and we will start working on those. Okay, these are the little earrings I was saying I already made. In case you're interested, that's 3 inches of the German style wire in antique bronze. Aren't those pretty? But these are small, so if you're wanting a small earring, this is great. This is, like I said, 3 inches of wire, and I'm going to make them exactly the same as these others I'm going to make right here. Though these have 5 inches of wire. 5. And then we have our earring wires. The Dzi beads. I'm never sure how I want to pronounce that. 5 inches of wire, as I said, as you can see, 5. 2 pieces of those. 4 of these bicones. Well, let's divide them up, because this is for one earring and this is for the second. Let's get them over where they can be seen better. We have 8 of these little peach shimmer bicones. We're going to have 2 on either side of the bead strand. And then we have some little oval jump rings. I've got some tiny ones and some medium-sized ones. Now you can use round if you want. And then I have some spacers. 2 larger and 4 smaller for each earring. So let's put this ones for this earring over to the side, and we're going to get started on this one. So the first thing you're going to need to do is, after you cut your wire, is to make a loop in your wire using a wire mandrel. Just put it right where you want it and then bend it around until it's sort of like where you want it to be at. Now this wire is big enough I could probably use the handle, which makes a bigger loop, of course, than the biggest one of these. So I've got this made, and then I will make the other one. So go up to the smaller one up here, the very last one of your wire mandrel, and pull your wire around. Then go down to this one to get some more sizing done. Now let's see if they match. Yeah, they're pretty close. So the first thing we want to do is we want to take our bell making pliers. This is my smaller one, and I'm going to use the smaller of these. And the first thing I'm going to do is just take one of these, and I'm going to wrap a loop to the outside on just one of the side. So we'll just take this and wrap it till it meets the other side there, just like there, see? And do the same with the other one. There's the second. Now let's see if they're still about the same size. And they appear to be, but this one is a little more rounded. So we're going to see if I can't get the round out of that by we want it to be the same. So we want to finger it. You know, when wire's warm, it bends a lot easier, so just use your fingers and get it to go to the shape you want. See, now we have 2 that are almost the same. So we'll put this one with this, and then we're going to start feeding our beads onto this one. So my pattern is for one of the little peach shimmers, one of my smaller spacers, the next peach shimmer, Again, a smaller spacer. My bicone, my gray bicone. Isn't that a pretty bicone? The bigger, and then my Dzi Agate. Now this is where we might hit some problems. Yeah, see how it wants to stay up there? Just work it down. And you may have to straighten your wire out to some to get it to go down where you want it. And if that happens, that's fine. You'll just have to then bring it back around with your, just finger it so it comes back up where you want it. And you'll notice that, see, it's not quite in the middle there, and that's fine. We'll just work it till it's there. Now that we've got that back in place, large spacer, crystal bicone. Come back here, baby. No go leaving. Small spacer, peach bicone, small spacer, peach bicone. Okay. All right, then our next step after we do that is to do the other, make the other loop. So we just do the opposite, just take our pliers and go to the other direction with this side. And there she is. Now, once they're about in the middle, and you can tell they're sort of centered, then because you want these closer, just push it like this until they come closer like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take 2 pair of our pliers. We're going to take these tiny jump rings here. Open these little guys up. And then we're going to hook them onto our loops here. Both of these little guys. Backwards. I'd go to twist that open and it wouldn't open because it would be backwards. Onto the loop. Close it up. Now that we've got those 2 on, we take this slightly larger one and open it up. Now we're going to hold our earring sort of upside down so that we can, those drop down. Then we want to go through both of those and then grab our ear wire and put it on as well. And then we'll close this up. Well, that one didn't close very well. I have to work it a little bit. There we go. And then this earring is finished. Now if you wanted to, you could also put a dangle in here. Just hook it with another jump ring onto right here in the middle on this jump one and just dangle it right through the center. And we could add one later if we want. But now what we want to do is exactly the same thing with our second one. So we take our wire that we've already bent and we just feed the beads on exactly the same. Now here comes that Dzi Agate that's going to give us a little bit of a problem probably. See, there it is right there, sticking there in place. So we need to bring her down by lifting our wire some, pulling it out of whack. Okay, I think that's probably about right there. So now we need to bring our wire back together. That one got a wee bit of a bend right there. We don't want that. But I think we're probably, yep, we're up as far as we need to go. So now this, our bicone, spacer, little bicone, spacer, and little bicone again. And of course now as we want to do that turn right there on this side, so we just take our, oops, don't use the big side, we want the small side, and turn it till it meets its buddy over here. Now as you can see, I've got these out of whack, so we gotta bring her around till she's more in whack where we want her to, and then bring her around like that. Now let's see how close we are to this other sizing here, because we have done a lot more movement on this. And see, she's still pretty good. So that's good. Now we want to put it together. So this one, I think, to me, looks a little more oval shaped, but I don't think it's too bad. Somebody once told me if they look at your earrings well enough to see little imperfections like that, then they're too close to you. Unless they're a really good friend. Okay. So there we go. Now it's time to put our ear wire on. Then, just like the other one, open up the two little jump rings. Get them over here. And tighten it up. And this is that's better. Next, okay, we have the two little ones on. Now it's the big one, or the bigger one, I should say. This isn't really a huge jump ring. It's hold them this way through the both rings. Come on, baby, go through. There we go. And then the ear wire. Baby, don't fall off. And there is number 2 done. Now, as I say, you can manipulate your wire just a little bit, you know, until you've got it exactly the way you want it. And I see I have this jump ring up just a little bit, so we're going to fix that. There's that lovely snap. And there we go. Earring number 2. Now, as I said, if you wanted to, now you could put a little dangle in here. Let's see what we have left from our bead box, and maybe we will do that. Okay, I have some of these little bicones in both of these left, so I could put a little dangle like the side piece down through the middle. In fact, let's do that. I think I like that thought. And so we got this, and then we'll get the little bicones. And I think we probably will be doing 2, like this, like entirely the side piece there. So go like this, 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 and I'll need to get some spacers to put this together, and then I'll need to get some eye pin, or a head pin I should say. And let me get those things and I'll be right back with you. I have grabbed some ball head pins and some more of these little spacers, just like the ones we used in the rest of the earring. So let's put this together with the big bicone, spacer, little bicone, spacer, and little bicone. And then that'll hang in there like this. So let's get this wrapped just by doing a turn right here. And for this, I use my stepped bell making pliers, and I use the smallest one to make my loop. So I'll just turn this around here, wrap it around here, make sure it's lollipop shaped, and then I'll do my wraps. Now sometimes I don't like to wrap on this particular tool because sometimes the steps get in the way when you're wrapping. So you got to be careful of that because, like I say, they're getting in the way. So then we get this all wrapped and trim off the excess. Tuck it in, being careful because that is a crystal on top there. Okay. And now we'll hang it right here. Now, depending on how long it is what kind of a jump ring you're going to want. Do we want just the tiny one or do we want a bigger one? I'm thinking it's close enough here that the tiny one will probably be just fine. So I'll get a couple of the tiny ones out, one for each, and we'll hook this baby in. So we just open this up like we did the other ones. Hook it onto our pretty little dangle, and then we go into our earring, and we want to go between the arm ones onto the base one here, and I just knocked it out. So let's put this in first, and then we'll put this on, and then close it up. Now, if you had decided to make the dangle prior to finishing the rest of the earring up, you could have put it on when you put the leg pieces on, so that it would have been simpler to put on and in place. There, I think it's in. Yep. Now we'll just let her drop down into place there, like so. And there it is. So I think I have it just a hair's breadth crooked, so we're going to straighten that up. And there's our earring with our dangle in the middle. Okay, jump ring, stop dinking around. There we go. So there we go with the dangle in the middle. So let's get the other one done, and we will be done with this pair of earrings. So to do the other one, we just do it exactly the same. Just put the pretty bicone on, and then the spacers and orange bicones, or peach shimmer, as the case may be. So now we want to just make the dangle the same as the other one with the bend, and then our bail making pliers on the smallest bail, and open over and around, drop it down, bring it around to lollipop shape. See how that is? Now then we just take our pliers and wrap this around. Now if you want to do a finger wrap, that's fine. You don't have to use pliers. I just do when I'm in sort of tight spots so that I have a little more control with the pliers and I can get it nice and straight. Okay, when we get to this spot, we trim off the extra and tuck it in. As I say, being careful. Okay, all tucked in. And now we want to put it on our other earring here. So we don't need these anymore, so let's put them aside. Grab our pliers, open up our little jump ring. Now, as you could see, because the other one fell, it's sometimes easier just to do it by putting the jump ring in first. Remember, it has to go between the two leg ones. Put on your dangle and then tighten up your ear wire. I should say your jump ring. Ear wire's already tightened up, isn't it? Okay, and there we go. Let it drop down into place. And there we have our latest set of earrings. Aren't those great? Let's bring them down here so you can see them a little better. There we go. And here is, of course, the other little ones that I had made earlier that are made more or less exactly the same, except it's 3 inches of wire instead of 5. So I hope you liked that. Let's turn up and we will check things out a little more. Okay, here we go. These are the ones we just finished. Aren't those pretty? I really like those. Those ones may have to stay in my personal collection. So anyway, those are those brown ones. And these are, like I say, the little green and cream ones I made earlier before the show. 3-inch wires. See the big difference here? This is just 3 inches of wire. 5 inches of wire. So now if you wanted one somewhere in between, you could use 4 inches of wire. You just need to get that lovely shape. Aren't those pretty? Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. This is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.